All right, if anyone, what's up, Rodriguez? Does everything sound all right? I'm trying to make sure before we get started, my mic sounds good, the music isn't too loud. You're, yo, what's good, guys? All right, let me post it to Twitter real quick. All right, sounds good. All right, bet, bet. Let me post this to Twitter real quick. You can't hear the music though? Okay, I might need to adjust it a little bit. I had it turned down pretty low because I didn't want it to be too high. It's kind of just some background. I feel like that was a little too high. What does that sound like? Is that good or is that too loud? I don't even like this background song anyway. Next. I always wanted to know, you can answer this or not, but how old are you? I'm 22 right now. You can't hear? I feel like that's on his end, no? As long as the others can hear me, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Can the rest hear me? Anyone else? Is it just him? Oh, you can't hear music? Wait just a second. Oh shit, I turned off the... Okay. You can, just not the music. All right, then I ain't really gonna worry about the music, to be honest, then. It's not a big deal to me. So, yeah, you don't care for music anyway. Okay. Let's just go on with analysis. I agree. Hello, I have a question. What time frame do you mark out the SMT and the breaker at the midnight? I mean, that can vary. Um, I'm not really here to chart NQ or ES right now. I'm kind of on here to chart some stocks, any recommendations, because I'm kind of looking for a swing right now, or at least another swing. So, Elden Ring music in the background with this is so peak. Oh, so you can't hear it. It might just be lightly. But yeah, let me pull up this Twitter post real quick and see what stocks were already recommended, and I'll go ahead and start charting them. Before I do that though, I'll go ahead and let you all know this monthly power of 3. I'll just leave you all with this. This is our current monthly power of 3 here on NQ. Look how clean this was. From where the monthly open was, first distribution leg to the downside, we hit 2 to 2.5 standard deviations beautifully and formed SMT. With this low, NQ ran below this low, ES failed to, and then from there, up to 2 to 2.5. So I'll leave you all with this as we go into the week. I think it's going to be a pretty good week. Looks pretty clear here as we're going into it, so I'm liking what I'm seeing. But let me go ahead and pull up some of these stocks, because yeah, I'm looking around for a swing trade. I am in Nvidia right now. My options closed up 50%, both of them on Friday, so nice end to last week. Okay, let's see. Okay, hello. What's good, bro? What's good, Beckley? Yeah, like I said, if y'all have questions or anything, shoot them in the chat. I'm here kind of just charting, answering questions, just chilling out. See, something like this, it's at all-time highs. It's going to be a bit more... not my cup of tea, but I will say they manipulated this year's yearly open. Very nice. I'd look at this projection to the upside. So, I mean, this isn't personally... Okay, this is something also, if you're in here watching me chart stocks, you're going to see me pass up on a lot of them. Because the thing with me is, I'm still going about it the same way. I'm breaking it down through power of 3. But whenever we're charting stocks, we don't have SMT to confirm our highs or lows. So I'm being a bit more picky with the setups I take. So something like this, for example, I mean, if you're already in this, I mean, this is a good long to keep holding, I think. Because I think it's still going to push up into this 2 standard deviation level at least. But for me personally, like, I wouldn't take a swing position on this. There's no point. We're already almost at the destination. So... Did you swing that NQ move to 2.5? No, I actually did. I didn't swing NQ. I really don't swing trade like ES, NQ, or SPY, or QQQ that much, really. Hey, BD, whenever I'm ready to enter a trade long or shorts, one of the assets, NQ, ES, usually retests the midnight price and confirms my entry for that bias. And it's been very accurate so far. I posted my trade recap on your Discord and profits. Okay, bet. Yeah, I'll check that out here in a little bit. Bet. I mean, I could actually open the profits channel. Let me check it out. Oh yeah, you called that perfectly too. I mean, that move was so clean. I'm not really on here to chart NQ or ES, but I will go over Friday's price action real quick. I mean, Friday was really nice. So, as we went into the day, we actually didn't have SMT at our external low of day. So, I wasn't too interested to do anything yet. So, my attention actually turned to the 6 a.m. projection here. So, let me explain this. Let me bring over the ES. So, we didn't have any SMT at our external low of day, so I wasn't really that fond of our midnight projection. You could use first distribution on the midnight projection, but I was personally watching the 6 a.m. power of 3 into the morning, because let me zoom in a little bit here. So if we look at the 6 a.m. open, that 4-hour open, so this line right here, that's that 4-hour open. Let's look at it on ES. Notice the difference? Because you should. Right here, NQ failed to manipulate below. ES did. That's a form of hidden SMT there. So then from there, I was using the first distribution leg to the upside. And yeah, because also, whenever I go up to the hourly, look how well this projection aligns. It's on an hourly high and low. It's not just paired within the middle of the candle. So little things like that are going to get you more accurate projections. And then you can see we reached up into the 2 to 2.5 standard deviations. And we actually took a nice short there on live stream on Friday. And we took that on down. I actually shorted the ES. The ES was the weaker asset. It failed to take out the all-time high, as NQ did. So we shorted the ES there, took it down nicely. We took profits at pretty much the low. The second contract wasn't exactly the low. It came back up a little bit, but closed it for nice profits. Because then from there, I mean, we're at all-time highs. It's very hard to stay bearish at all-time highs. I mean, I anticipated them to go up and eventually wipe that SMT because it's all-time highs. ES had some very clean highs up here, and that's exactly what we did into the close, right up into 3.5 to 4. So yeah, Friday's price action was very nice. How often are you taking intraday trades per week estimate? I'm typically taking like 1 to 3 setups a week. But that can also vary on the trader because there's a lot of moves I'm calling in the week very accurately, and others in the Discord are trading them using the same things, SMT and standard deviations. But I pass up a lot more moves than others because I'm trying to capitalize on the days of the weekly power of 3 when I think we're going to expand. I could care less about a 50 to 100 point moves some days, like, because I know we're going to move another 50 to 100 points the next day. I'm trying to find those days when we're expanding 200 points or so. Those are the days when you're going to be catching some really nice trades, and the standard deviation is just going to guide the way for where price is going. I have doubt which projection and which manipulation legs to use. Focus with SMT in your time openings. I mean, that's all it comes back to. Because I mean, clearly here, I mean, NQ, I'm using first distribution. I mean, people get it mixed up. They're like, how do I know to use first distribution, last manipulation? Well, it's pretty simple if you actually look at the power of 3 opening price and think, did they manipulate it here? No, there was no manipulation of that 4-hour open. So how are we going to project the manipulation move? I'm not going to be projecting from this low to this high because that's outside of this current 4-hour candle. The new 4-hour candle started here. So I'm not going to be keying from this low to this high. I'm keying the fib within the same power of 3. Do you trade Bitcoin? I do not. I stay far away from crypto. Stay far, far away from crypto. Hold on, let me go to my other post and see some of the other stocks. Like I said, y'all can also drop some stocks in the chat. I'm gonna be charting some more. Preferably no penny stocks or crypto. I really don't like charting those, but let me go ahead and get into some of these. CRCL. Okay, so this is fairly new. I will say that volume imbalance up here definitely has my eye. It's through 2 monthly candles. Open the monthly candle there. See, these are a little more difficult when they're this new. Because whenever I'm charting for a swing trade, I'm trying to stay on like the daily chart and above. And whenever we just don't have that much data like this, it's a little bit more difficult. And I know I'm more likely to be wrong, but where was last month? Open there. I got my first payout in June and haven't been profitable since. It's kind of killed my confidence. Found your videos 2 weeks ago. I'm studying hard and I'm still struggling. Any slump advice? I mean, whenever you know you're in a slump, the thing you shouldn't do is be going out and trying to force trades or go into the day thinking you need to trade. Like, I was very open about it. Last month, I had a red month. I struggled last month. I mean, last month's price action was very tough to trade in. But I mean, it's about how you deal with them. Like, I noticed that I was struggling. I knew I wasn't having the best read with price. Does that mean I'm gonna sit there and complain about it? No, I'm gonna sit there and adapt to it. I'm going to size down, de-risk until I'm out of that slump. And the only thing to do to get you out of that slump, I say backtest. Backtesting is what brings confidence. Because what's going to change your mind and deter you from the setup if you've seen it play out hundreds of times in your backtesting? All right, I always say it. Confidence comes from backtesting, but that also doesn't mean to just full port whenever you see your setups. You gotta proper risk. But you'll be back on track. Trust me, everyone goes through them. So line up main swing manipulations of times and other standard VA. Wait till SMT, then Godin. Wait, what? Just trade 4x and I think it should start moving good because of the quarter. I've never really dabbled into 4x either because I mean, I just felt like I haven't ever really needed to. I mean, I have everything I need to just trading stocks and futures. Do you usually live every Monday at this hour? I see you corrected it to Sunday. So I do a live every Sunday, but it's usually in Discord, and I'm actually doing that after this YouTube live. I do like my pre-week analysis, just go over QnA, just my thoughts for the week, going over the news we have, what days I plan on trading, just pre-week analysis. But yeah, I do those every Sunday in the Discord. Bro, I think your stream has some delay with the comments. No, I kind of just got backed up on them because I was sitting here charting this. But if I'm being honest, this one really doesn't have my interest that much with how new it is. I mean, it came out in June. If I had, like I said, this one, it's a little more difficult with how new it is. But gun to my head, looking at this monthly chart, I definitely think we're going to be back up here for this volume imbalance. It's going through 3 candles. Do you do any backtesting streams? I've had some people ask that or ask about them before, so I might have to do one of them here on YouTube one day. It's okay for me. He's responding in a reasonable time. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got backed up a little bit there. I was kind of just charting the stock, so. Oh no, it's all good, man. It's all good. Let's see, TTD. Well, whoever had me chart this last time, this is going to plan. I mean, look at that. Weekly swing from the highs. They used the 2025 open here on the sell side of the curve, manipulated above. They ran it down. We'll say the weekly doesn't look too pretty without it broke below that, but the monthly, very nicely reaccumulation out of 2 to 2.5. I mean, yeah, to me, this is still going lower. TTD. I mean, I like these lows down here I had outlined from the last time I charted this. I still think it's moving for those 3.5 to 4 just below. Yeah, that's what I think for that one. I think that one still has a nice little move lower still. But yeah, try out some 4X and see the moves. The dollar's low-key starting to move as well. Yeah, I did see. I know the euro and dollar's been moving pretty well lately. Might have to take a look. Because I know you can trade like the futures, like the euro futures. So, I mean, I definitely could. I'll look into it. But yeah, I mean, there's not much. See, this is what I'm saying too about if you're on here while I'm charting these swing trades, I pass up on a lot of setups because I'm looking for more of the moves. Like, let me go to Nvidia, for example. So this was a swing trade I entered last week and I'm still holding. I mean, we're risk free. If it came back to my entry, I would break even just because there's no reason to let it go to a loss. But I will plan on re-entering as long as it keeps showing me what I want. But here's what I was seeing with Nvidia. So we have a higher time frame projection, 3.5 to 4 standard deviations up here. And if you're also looking at the 2 to 2.5, we have broken above that. So I'm anticipating more of one-sided delivery up here to 3.5 to 4. And I like how we came down into this monthly FVG. And not only that, I'm looking at our current monthly power of 3. Okay, they gave our monthly open. Then they give the last drop into the monthly FVG. Okay, so that's our manipulation move. I like that. And that's what I'm projecting to the upside here. And this is what I really like about it. 3.5 to 4 is aligning inside the higher time frame projection. You don't use negative 4.5? No, I do not. Nope, everything I use within the standard deviation is here. I haven't really talked about 1 to 1.5 at least on YouTube yet. Might do that in the future, but for now, 2 to 2.5 and 3.5 to 4 is all you need. But yeah, I mean, I entered on Nvidia right here though. Whenever we came back down, we're manipulating below the monthly open. We're testing the breaker right here. And then to top it off, I really like how they retested that monthly FEG again. And we entered right there and risk-free on our calls just like that. So these are like the type of setups I'm looking for on stocks. I'm looking for these earlier setups when I think we're about to make the main moves, not after we've already made the main move and I'm just trying to catch like the last little portion of it. I'm more picky. I'm looking for these setups like this or like XYZ. So this was a great one. This was a swing trade I took last year. So I mean, this is also just a beautifully moving stock. I recommend if you like swing trades, watch this stock's price action. This moves like money. So last year, we took a long swing trade right in here. because that's whenever I noticed it. I didn't see it whenever we retested the monthly BPR here and the breaker. But I mean, it looks very similar to the setup we're kind of seeing with Nvidia. They gave the monthly open, then they give that last drop down for the manipulation, okay? And then they took it up, and what do? They come back, retest the breaker, manipulate below that monthly open, and from there it was higher. And I mean, like I said, they kind of consolidated it for a bit, and I was kind of lucky with that because I didn't see this setup until right in here, and that's where we entered the swing trade, and then those calls ended up going to 1,000%. They both work really good though. Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying there's nothing with negative 4.5, but yeah, I just personally don't use it. Have you ever considered standard deviation getting affected by alpha decay? Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by alpha decay? All I'll say is the standard deviations will never stop working. Same thing with ICT's concepts in the way price delivers. The day it stops working, we have something much worse to worry about in the world. What the hell is alpha decay? Yeah, I don't know either. That's what I was saying. I kind of need more. I don't know what you mean by alpha decay, to be honest. All right, let's move on to the next setup though. ENVX. Right now I'm going through the ones I got recommended on Twitter. After this, I'll start going through some of like the more main stocks, Apple, AMD, just shit like that. Okay, this looks so nasty. Laugh my ass off, bro. Overcomplicating? Me? I actually think it's the opposite. I like to simplify price. Keep it to just a few things. Because like I said, I trade ICT concepts, but I don't agree with, like, you have people that like to just mark up every PD array, every fair value gap, every breaker, thinking they need to use every type of PD array when that's just not true at all. I mean, there's really only like 3 main PD arrays I'll look at. I mean, it's your breaker, order block, and fair value gap. And really, I don't even... No, the alpha decay guy. Okay, I thought you were talking about that, but yeah. Yeah, I think it's happening. It's basically the end of the world with the September news and events. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I'm looking at this right now. See, this is also just something I would not touch for swings. Look at this. That just looks nasty in my opinion. I mean, it's just a bunch of, they're going back and forth, just taking liquidity going the opposite way. And it's very nasty because they're not even taking external liquidity half the time. Like here, this run down, they're taking the external low, they run it back up, they're taking out the internal liquidity. And then again, back down, run it up, take out some internal liquidity, and then they're down for external. Back up, internal. And again, just back to the fair value gap. This is what I'm saying. This thing moves nasty. I don't even want to go down to the lower time frames. The higher time frames not clear. Instead of always catching the manipulation move with the standard deviation, distribution is really nice. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't always have to enter into SMT. That's why if I ever miss that, I'm very fine with entering into like the breaker or off the reaccumulation move, for sure. Like strats that worked 5 years ago don't work as well now, like TJR's old strats. Well, I hate to tell you, I don't know. It's it's not that it's not working anymore. It's just that's literally the ICT 2022 model. Like, don't get me wrong, I give all props to TJR. It's insane how good his marketing is and how much money he has made selling ICT's 2022 mentorship, but yeah, no, that it definitely still works. You just got to know when to use it and when not to use it. I mean, it's no different with the way I trade. I mean, I focus heavily on when not to trade. Bro made 400K. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it definitely works still, and that's what I'm saying. I give all props to TJR. It's insane how much money he's definitely accumulated from that. And I will say, yeah, it's definitely a little bit of gambling, but I mean, like I said, all props to him. Can't really down the man. But yeah, there's no arguing the fact, though, what he was selling was the ICT 2022 mentorship. He has the money to be on live and leverage more. Yeah. Love him though for putting me on to trading. Yeah, like I said, he's gotten a lot of new people into trading because, like I said, he's just a big face on social media. But yeah, from a lot of people that I've talked to as well, like you'll notice quickly, it's more of like an introduction than anything. But yeah, let me get into BA here. Man, a lot of these ones people are recommending me are just sideways. I don't like that. Okay, what I will say is the last 2 months, we've taken out previous month low again. I think it wants to offer some buy side delivery. Not gonna lie, I learned everything about ICT without actually watching ICT. Props to you, BD, T trades, TJR, PB trading, a lot more easier to understand. Oh, 100%. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've personally watched most of everything ICT's put on YouTube, but I completely understand why people don't like watching his videos. And that's why I also say there's people out there that are better at teaching ICT concepts and models from his concepts better than himself. Just because, like I said, he does overcomplicate it. He likes to just add all of his PD arrays. He has 81 PD arrays, and this is what I'm saying. You don't need 81 PD arrays. Narrow it down to 1 or 2 and just continue to refine and master a system around those 2. Just 2-hour video just for the actual sauce to be like 10 minutes exactly, and it's not even 10 minutes together. It's split up in parts throughout the video as well, and if you're lucky, it's in one video. Half the time it's spread out through even more than one video. So like I said, I completely get why people don't. So yeah, but yeah, hold on, let me look at BA a little closer here. I kind of like what they did here. 2025, they ran it straight down. Yeah, I think this wants to offer some buy side up here. Now, I don't know what that drawing is. I'm going to go and remove that. That was a previous drawing I had. Yeah, I will say, so a lot of the ones I've gotten recommended so far, they're just straight sideways, man. I really don't like a lot of these setups I've been charting so far, but if I had to gun to my head, I think this one wants to offer some buy side up to this yearly FEG. Because, I mean, we've taken out the previous year low twice in a row. Yeah, I think the higher time frame trend is wanting these highs before our current yearly low. Low key, I might be interested to take a swing on this. If they could drop it all the way back down to the breaker, I'd maybe take a long on that. But where it's at right now, I wouldn't take a long just yet, personally. BD, I've seen your vids. Just asking, do you take trades both off the standard deviation and towards them, or do you prefer one over the other, like I backtested? So I mean, typically it's gonna be towards the standard deviation levels. So I mean, there are times like, for example, so here, this is going to be a rough drawing, but it'll make more sense. So if we're, so say we already have price down here for the midnight open manipulation, okay? And then they just run it straight higher. And then say this was our 6 a.m. open about in here. So they just take it straight up, okay? So hold on, let me add some more sauce to this. So let's say our midnight open was here. Like I said, this is a rough drawing, but it'll make more sense very soon. Here's the 6 a.m. open, for example, one of our 4-hour opens, okay? So let's say we're looking at our midnight projection going into the morning, okay? If we are trading straight up from our power of 3 opening price and they just trade straight into like 3.5 to 4, for example, where we anticipate the range to more than likely cap, okay? If we see SMT there, I'm going short. I don't need a projection back to the downside. My main target is going to be the power of 3 opening price, that 4-hour open, because it's very likely for us to come back to it then. So that's an example when, yeah, I wouldn't really need a projection back down. But yeah, a lot of times though, I'm already probably long looking for the standard deviation levels. But yeah, it's all coming back to 3 things: power of 3 opening price, SMT, and the standard deviations. Leave the grandpa alone. He's getting old. Gotta stretch out the sauce so lazy people don't get it easily. Yeah, that is kind of true. He definitely doesn't make it easy. To be honest, he gives you all the shit you need. You just gotta take what you want. For sure. And that's why I say the 2016 core content by ICT is better than the 2022 mentorship. Because the 2016 core content is more of like a compilation of most of his concepts, and you can kind of pick out the ones that make sense to you and form your own model. And that's essentially what I've done here with the standard deviations and SMT. ICT no rant, save me without a higher time frame. Institutional order. You don't know if I should reverse. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like the standard deviation by itself, that's why we can't just project random legs. Yep, you gotta have logic behind them. Same thing with just like SMT. Like, bro, what? Wait, yeah, I'll go to the next one off this song. This one's definitely not it. Bro, I just have no copyright music playing, but I had it playing the last time, and bro, they still strike me for copyright on the YouTube live. I don't know why. Let's say we're bullish and price makes an SMT at the highs. Do we exit the trade or keep it? Well, it depends. This is also what I was just referring to about SMT and why I don't use an indicator and don't recommend anyone to use an indicator to mark out SMT, because SMT in itself is a pattern. So this is why I'm trying to pick out and choose them within the standard deviation levels. So let me go back to NQ, for example, and look at our monthly low. Okay, the current first distribution leg we had here of our monthly open to the downside, we reached that 2 to 2.5 standard deviations, and then SMT formed. That's when SMT worked. Any SMTs that we're showing here on the move down got wiped. No copyright EDM, bro. Those was shit back in the day. Real. Let's see. Uma. I think this is really the last one I got recommended on Twitter, so I'll start going through some like bigger names after this. Cause I haven't really seen nothing that interesting yet. BA looked alright, but I'd want it to retrace more if I'd try along on it. Let's see, monthly chart. So we're at all-time lows, eh? Oh, this is a penny stock too. Blech. All right, let's see what they did with the 2025 open. After the live is over, will it be posted on your channel? Yeah, the live should stay up on the YouTube so that anyone can go back and watch it. So let's see. They gave the yearly open there. So yeah, they really didn't. This is why I don't mess with penny stocks. I mean, this is a penny stock at all-time lows. I mean, this is more of gambling in my opinion, because half the time these just continue to make new lows. Like they'll get a pop-up like this, they bait everyone in longs, think the stock is recovering, and then what happens? Right back down. Oh, they do it one more time. Oh, right back down. Same thing. I mean, this was a larger run-up. I mean, I can't imagine how many people they baited into longs there. Right back down. I mean, this is just something I would avoid. I just can't trade. I don't like penny stocks, and then let alone when it's at all-time lows. What's good, bro? It's dialed from your Discord. This guy fucks, bro. I'm telling you. That guy. Nah, he takes fucking good-ass notes. I'm telling you. Yeah, Joseph, you're gonna fucking make it with this. I swear. Best notes I've seen personally, but I know you don't prefer crypto, but I'm really interested to what you think about XRP. Yeah, fuck it, I'll look at it. Cause I mean, half the stocks I've gotten recommended to don't look that hot either. So, oh well, this ain't the right one to look at. Let's see, Binance, sure. Looks like I've charted this before. Ooh, wait, it looks like it played out. Okay, hold on, I'm just removing all these drawings. It looks like it's been a long time since I charted it. Back at like the beginning of the year. So let's see here. I mean, they did give a nice wick on the yearly candle. They manipulated below it. Ooh, that was actually nice. Manipulation below. Let's see here. What would this look like going up to the weekly chart? Yep, I like how that's aligned to that weekly high. Oh yeah, beautiful. Right up into 2 to 2.5. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we reached 2 to 2.5 standard deviations. We took out the previous all-time high. Okay, here's what I'll also say. Right now, it does look like it's going to continue possibly back to this low, because I at least think it wants to come back to this monthly open. I think it's going to want to come back to this monthly open, make a new low down in here, but I think this is going to end up running to the 3.5 to 4. Yeah, monthly FVG here. Yeah, I'd be watching this monthly FVG and this monthly order block here, because I think this is going to want to go up again. But I will say right now at the moment, I still think it's going to go a bit lower. I think it wants to come back for this monthly open and likely take out these lows again here. Roblox intro song. Yeah, no, I gotta get a better playlist to go through. I'm just playing them random off YouTube right now. How long you gonna be live, bro? I don't know. I'm kind of just on here for vibes, really. Just charting around, looking for a swing trade, answering questions. Not really taking it too serious right now. I mean, I usually do my live stream in the Discord for like my weekly analysis at 10. So if I'm still streaming on here till 10, I mean, I'll probably hop off around then. But I'm kind of vibing right now. I don't got a certain time I plan on hopping off just yet. Let's go over SEHW? No, I haven't yet. I can. Okay, this is steady uptrender. Okay, okay. Let's see here. What'd they do with the 2025 open? Yeah, we have a nice wick on the yearly candle. Nice manipulation, actually. What does this look like on the weekly? Yeah, that weekly breaker does look nice. Yeah, I still think this looks good for higher. Who was it that asked me to chart that? Jojo? Yeah, I think this still looks good for higher because I also like how they gave the monthly open right here. So I definitely think they're running back above the monthly open. And in my opinion, if they make a new high here, I think they're just going to continue uptrending it to this 2 standard deviation level. If they go above the monthly open and don't take this high and start running back below, they're likely going to retrace it into this volume imbalance before they get that real upside move again. So I'd really monitor the reaction and the move we get into this monthly open again. But I think higher time frame, this still looks good for higher. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if this does drop back down to that volume imbalance, if they could fill that, I would possibly even be interested along this then. Yeah, this one don't look too bad. Can you at Discord, please? Wait, what do you mean? Do you know who AFYX is on Twitter? I feel like I've seen his page. I don't really know much more than that. I feel like I have seen his post show up before. Like I said, I don't really try to mess around with Twitter traders or anything because half of them are faking it. Half of them just regurgitate the same thing. Yeah, so I like to just stay in my own little space. Casey Norton's that ass song. So iconic, real. All right. Well, like I said, if y'all have any recommendations you want me to chart, you can drop them in chat. But I think now I'm gonna start going into some more of the main sectors here, main stocks. Let's take a look at Amazon. Okay, we have a lot of previous drawings on here, so I'm going to go ahead and remove those. But I will add this projection for 2025 I had on here. Because yeah, Microsoft and Amazon have been moving very nice this year. I was kind of upset I forgot about them down here. I didn't take my long on them like I wanted. Microsoft looked a bit better than Amazon though, because Amazon didn't quite take as much sell side, or it wasn't as obvious, but I mean, very nice from that yearly open manipulation right down 2 to 2.5 standard deviation. That's marked a low. Yeah, I mean, I'm still bullish on Amazon. Let's see. So they opened April right here before they ran it down. Yeah, I like how that aligns to the daily highs and lows. So price can reverse at 2 standard deviations? Absolutely. So the way you need to think about it is focus on drawing liquidity. And well, this is stocks, so we don't have SMT. But for example, if I'm trading NQ, if we're reaching the 2 to 2.5 standard deviation, and we've hit my main draw on liquidity, which that could be a fair value gap on the higher time frame. It could be a volume imbalance. Okay, there's a lot of different things we can have for our draw on liquidity. If we've hit our draw on liquidity, the standard deviation levels, and we see SMT, then absolutely the reversal can unfold there. Microsoft, yes, this was very clean. I'm actually very upset I didn't take this long, because I could actually pull up on Twitter. I had sent a prediction when price was still in here. Like, I posted it on Twitter with a drawing with an arrow coming up to the breaker and then down to 4 standard deviations, and it did exactly that. I was kind of upset I missed a long on it out of 4 standard deviations, but we live for another setup. But either way, Microsoft looks beautiful. Can't lie. I think this is still bullish. Because if you also notice here, this move down was reaccumulation from my higher time frame swing out of 2 to 2.5. Okay? So now we're breaking above the 2 to 2.5. I really like our current yearly projection. It's aligning with the higher time frame projection up here. So my predictions with Microsoft are looking like 570s. I think Microsoft still has business up here. Yeah, given levels above all-time highs before we've even delivered them. It was no different than down here. This 2 to 2.5, these were levels never discovered before by Microsoft, and look at that. Still marked the high to the T. Must have been the sellers though, right? Who am I kidding? He's boys with T Trades and Nick Futures, boy. Um, I know of both of those a little more than him, but yeah, like I said, I mean, there's definitely good traders on Twitter. I just really like to stay in my own space. I think a lot of what's posted on Twitter is just very toxic and not good for the trading community at all. Hey BD, sorry if you've already answered this. What is your approach to swing and position trading? Um, I mean, I'm really going about it the same way. I'm just being a bit more picky with my setups. So, like here, so Nvidia, this was the most recent swing trade I took, and it was last week, and I'm still holding it actually. I went long right here at the bottom of this daily candle. It's really more visible here on the 4-hour. It was right here. But I mean, so I'm looking at our higher time frame standard deviations. We have broken above the 2 to 2.5. So I'm anticipating more of one-sided delivery up to the 3.5 to 4. So I'm having more of a bullish bias here, but I'm not just going to go long off of that. We need much more to it than that. So from there, I really like how they have done what here with price. They accumulated it all last month. Okay, August, just straight accumulation, building up some clean highs right here. So that catches my attention. Whenever they're building up some clean liquidity like that, that'll catch my attention on a stock. And then they wait to manipulate the higher low of the range until they give the new monthly open. So they gave that new monthly open here of September, and then they run it down, taking out the lows, reaching into the monthly FVG, so that can be the manipulation of the monthly candle, or at least that's what I'm anticipating to happen here. And from there, they expanded it higher. And I mean, I didn't really have an interest to partake in it just yet, because I was interested in this retrace back down. Because I mean, look at this, they're leaving multiple fair value gaps on the way. I was more interested to catch the retrace, and they did that. They brought it back down to the monthly open again. So this is also what I'm meaning by I'm a bit pickier with stocks. I like to see multiple things align like this whenever I'm entering. Okay, what is this background music? I'm about to turn this shit off. But what I'm saying is you got to be really picky with your entries. So right here, the reason I really like this entry on Nvidia was because it came back to the breaker. That's one way I always love entering. 2, we're manipulating the monthly open again. And 3, it retested the monthly FVG there. So there was multiple things there that I really liked about that setup. And then along with, that was actually right after the FOMC move. And I was anticipating NQ to rally back to the highs, and that was only going to help Nvidia. So little things like that, I like to see things align. And another thing, if you're familiar with my one shot, one kill model on YouTube, I have a video over it. One shot, one kill. It's the breaker with the midnight open. Is this not the same setup, just on a higher time frame scale? Oh shit. Yep. Yo, one thing I learned from you tonight is that if price pushes straight to -4, we get an SMT, then go with that. I'll be looking forward to see if that happens in the future. Yes, sir. What do you think of his concepts? Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about like those guys you were asking about, I really don't know much about their concepts. I couldn't speak on them. Wouldn't be my place to speak on them. But I mean, I'm very open to, you can be profitable with pretty much anything. I mean, I found profitability with supply and demand, but I think you have to build a rule-based system around it. If you don't have rules for when to avoid price and when to enter, you're doomed. In my opinion, knowing when to avoid the market and sit on your hands is more important than knowing when to execute, when to be involved. If you can't protect your capital, you're not going to last in this game. Are you saying that even single stocks are ran by an algorithm and not supply and demand? Um, I do think stocks are a bit more manipulated, I will say. It's definitely not ran the same as in QnA, yes, I will say. Because they're, with the mass amount, because you have things like earnings moves, for example. Those can be heavy manipulation moves. Like when everyone is one-sided, gee. But yes, stocks to me move damn near the same. But I'm also a lot more pickier on my setups. That's why I avoid penny stocks. I haven't found much consistency with it in penny stocks. Um, yeah. BD loyal to Breaker, Breaker loyal to BD. You got that right. One thing I need to learn as well, just sitting on hands and protecting capital. Yes. I mean, to me, it's so important because you got to think about it. We're going to move that 50 to 100 points the next day again. Okay. If you don't see your entry model, why force it? If it's not obvious to you, why are we taking on a trade? Like, obviously, there's going to be setups to you that are obvious and you're still going to take an L. That's part of this game. You can't avoid losses completely, but you can minimize them. You can absolutely take yourself out of positions when you're more likely to lose. And I tell people this in my Discord all the time. I have no problem saying when I'm more likely to lose. I can acknowledge that and see when I am. And I simply just avoid price. Because the only time you need to be right is when you're in a trade. Um, yeah, analysis is the easy part to trading. It really is. I can call the moves on NQ and ES daily, but I'm not trading over half of those moves. I'm waiting for that clean entry criteria I like, and this is going back to having rules, having a rule-based system. Yeah, let me get into a couple more stocks. I was looking at AMD the other day. It didn't look too interesting because this is also something I'll say for the people that are on here. Stocks that gap a bunch. Actual Slither music. Bro, you have me looking up, changing it every time because it is so ass. Oh, that's funny. I really got to get a playlist together for next time I go live. But yeah, I will say a lot of, so whenever we have something like this, like AMD, it's really not personally something I like to trade a lot because look at how much this thing gaps and leaves volume imbalances. Because if you notice like something on like NQ and ES, gaps and volume imbalances are key levels that I love to use, especially volume imbalances. Volume imbalances are some of the strongest draw on liquidities that you can find. Um, and whenever a stock just does it this often, there's just not much significance to it. So I really don't pay too much attention to it. But I will say I'm bullish on Nvidia, so this should likely run with it. I mean, honestly, we broke above this high. It's coming back. I mean, I'd like to see it be used as a breaker and continue higher with Nvidia, really. Yeah, it did swipe into that weekly FVG there. I got trouble trading towards the standard deviation. Like that Nvidia breakdown, do you always look for that breaker retrace or just depends on the structure? I mean, I will say for stocks, a lot of times I am entering on the breaker. So again, like I showed you the Nvidia setup that I broke down, I'll go back into XYZ. So I haven't taken that many swing trades this year. I was a lot more active on the swings last year, and this was one of the bangers from last year. So again, um, well, I actually didn't even enter on the breaker on this one because I was a little late to it. So here, for example, by the time I saw this setup, so we were anticipating us to run back to the highs because, okay, so let me just break this setup down for you. We had a bunch of relative equal highs building up here. So this was one of my reasons for having a bullish bias. I was wanting to see us run up into these highs. Um, but that alone, we need more to it. So whenever I went to the monthly chart, you could see here, there was a massive monthly FVG we left below. And what I really liked about it was there was a second fair value gap here that overlapped into it. So we had a BPR there. So let me go back to the weekly chart now. So then from here, at our high, at the high of 2024, they ran it down 2 to 2.5 standard deviations. And look at this. Why was I okay with these candles going below the monthly BPR? How did I know to hold a bullish bias through this? Does anyone know? Yeah, anyone that's in the Discord or was in the swing trade last year is going to know this, but why was I okay with these candles below the BPR and still being bullish? Anyone know? Standard deviation is the shit. Indeed it is. Why be live on YouTube and not TikTok? More viewers and better engagement? Yeah, but you also got to deal with the TikTok viewers and comments. Did you ever buy Oxy? If so, are you still holding? Yes, I am still holding Oxy. I'll go into that in a second as well. Okay, well, I guess no one's answering, so I'll go ahead and go over it here. I was fine with these closes below the BPR and still holding my bullish bias because these daily candles didn't mean shit for this. Why is that? Because if we go back to the monthly chart, that was just a wick on the monthly candle. The monthly candle was still holding this BPR just fine. So then from there, once we saw that monthly close back up, I mean, that right there was enough for me. I mean, like I said, I didn't see the setup until a little later. I saw the setup somewhere in here. So, like I said, I didn't enter on the breaker on this one. I was kind of just entering in here using my stop as the low still. Like I knew it was a little bit riskier of an entry, but to me, I knew we weren't likely to come back down here because we already offered the breaker. To me, if we were going to go higher, we should just continue. We shouldn't really go back to this low where we retested the breaker, the monthly BPR. So, I mean, it's very similar to Nvidia. They came back down for the breaker. We're manipulating the monthly open, and they're retesting the higher time frame array, that monthly fair value gap BPR again. So, and then from there, yeah, just held that swing all year. And then once again, this is what I'm talking about with earnings. Heavy manipulation. They took it down. They're taking out all of the lows. And this is actually, I remember this exactly too. When we were in the swing trade, I can't even tell you how many people were freaking out that were in the setup. Oh no, man, I should have sold before the earnings move. I knew it was gonna go down. Oh no. And I was still confident. I'm full holding. I mean, to me, it was just another manipulation move. To me, that's just high impact news on a stock. Oxy. Yeah, you asked about Oxy. I am long on Oxy. And yeah, I still have my tweet on here. Bottom tick that bitch. Called it on Twitter. Accumulating Oxy now. And on dips. I mean, they didn't even dip it anymore though. Yeah, I'm still long from 35. I will say though, my options, I didn't get that much in options. I've said from the beginning I'm much heavier in shares because I think this will be a good shares play because one, looking at the monthly chart, I know this can take some time to play out. I mean, look at how long they consolidated up here in this range. Two, um, I mean, shares from this point have the potential to go 100% if we do go back to the highs like I'm wanting. Um, but yeah, I went long on Oxy at the low here. What I was looking for, I was looking at this volume imbalance because that's what I was really wanting to see filled as they came down and was retesting in this yearly FVG. So I'll go up to the yearly chart real quick. And you can actually see it's a yearly FVG here and it's a yearly BPR. So this purple box, that's going through 2 yearly FVGs right there. And look at that yearly candle holding so far. So I'm still holding shares fully. I'm still holding my options as well, but my options low key got cooked by theta. I'm up like 35% on my shares, but I'm down. I'm down on my options. So yeah. But I will say what I'm up on the shares is making up for more than what I'm down on the options. Cause yeah, I think this can definitely take some more time to play out. But I think once it starts getting back above that yearly BPR, it's gonna look nice. Yeah, I got a month out call for 55 at 43. Shit barely moved. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm up 35% on the shares, but the options are just getting railed because of how slow it's moving. Hey BD, are you using the midnight projection as a key level for every single trade you take? Also, I've noticed I use the CE of Wix. How does that work? So, yeah, I mean, pretty much every day, the midnight projection is definitely one of the like main projections I'm watching because I mean, that's going to give you a better idea for what's going to happen for the whole day. The midnight open's the true daily open. So the manipulation of your midnight open is more of giving you your daily power of three projection. So if we have a midnight projection and we hit 3.5 to 4 standard deviations early in the morning, so like the 9:30 move manipulates up into it, or even if they do it just before, a lot of times you can see the higher low of day form there. So if it was a daily BPR, it shouldn't be trusted. Wait, what do you mean? Thank you for such a clear answer, BD. I'm gonna get the standard deviation shit down. Hell yeah. I hope to see more people getting it down. I mean, that's why I like going live and stuff. I'm just here to explain it. So this is what I'm saying. Like I can talk price all day. I mean, man, just thousands of hours of study. That's what I'm also saying too. Like a lot of people complain about it's not working, they're unprofitable, but they haven't even experienced a full calendar year of trading. Um, yeah. Working on standard deviation 2 is midnight open London. Wait, what? The midnight open is just if you're using EST, so UTC -4 New York time. Um, here's another tip. Like usually if you see anyone trading ICT concepts, they're more than likely going to be using New York time. Because that is what the algorithm refers to, as in The midnight open is the true daily open, which is exactly how it works in the real world. Oh, sorry, mistake on PST. Oh yeah, if you go to, I'm not sure personally what it is to PST. I mean, you could search it up, but it's the Midnight Open EST. But then yeah, I'm also looking at the London Open, so like 3 a.m. But I'm not really projecting just off that. I'm usually looking at the 2 a.m. Open. So look at this for example. So off 2 a.m. here on Friday, they did little to any manipulation there. But what you could do is still key the fib there and look what marked the low. 2 to 2.5 standard deviations. Mark the low from that 2 a.m. standard deviation, that 3 a.m. manipulation down. Everyone that was shorting that move off the open thinking, oh shit, the London Open, we're dumping. Uh, they created the low of day. 2 to 2.5 standard deviations and then up from there. And right back up to 4 hour open. Oh, we got an OG in here, Harold. Am I late to the party? Old Conrad from Oculus server. What's going on, man? That's how you know. That's how you know you're an OG. From Oculus server. Damn, that brings me back. It's been so long. Haven't heard that name in a while either. It'll occasionally get brought up in the Discord. That's funny. I think I looked at Microsoft already, didn't I? Ah, yeah, I did. Low key. Does this monthly manipulation line up with this? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold up. Hold up. I think this is the best thing I've seen tonight. Okay, magnet, turn off. Hold up. I might be looking for some Microsoft longs this week. I like how this 2 to 2.5 standard deviations is right up here at this high, which I believe was an earnings move. Yep. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm liking Microsoft. I might be looking for a long on this week because I really don't know if it's going to retrace much more again. If it did, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they came down and filled this daily volume imbalance, but that would be the max I'd really want to see it go lower again. But I really like how it retested there. That was also the retest of the breaker. Oof. I think Microsoft longs are looking good. I like how the 2 to 2.5 of this monthly projection is at the earnings high here, and then I like how 3.5 to 4 is aligned inside the higher time frame projections. Look at this. We have not one, not two, but three projections aligned up here now. Uh oh. Yeah, Microsoft longs look juicy. How you been, brother? I mean, I've been great, man. I can't even lie. Had a great weekend. Good ass day today. Um, man, if any of you all get the chance, I mean, especially in the crazy times we're in right now, personally, I think turning to Christ is the answer. I went and saw this play today, The Thorn. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it or seen it, but if you get the chance to see it or if it comes to an area near you, I highly recommend. It was very good. Rip Oculus free VIP. Does he still? Dude, you know what's crazy, JoJo? He blocked me and Harold. He literally blocked me on Twitter. I don't even get why. He did it a while ago too. Amen. Yes, sir. Midnight, do you use order flow or volume profile? No, I don't. Nope. I mean, I'm taking into account higher time frame order flow, but it's not the order flow people usually refer to. Like I'm not looking at buyers or sellers or anything. That's something with me. I don't care for any type of flow. Um, I could care less if there's buyers or sellers because, like I said, I prove it over and over again with how the standard deviations form the high and low. You could not convince me that that was buyers or sellers. Absolutely not. There's something much more to it. Guessing you're gonna enter off the propulsion block. Oh, if you're talking about Microsoft. Oh wait, I'm still on Microsoft. I'm tripping. Well, see, here's the thing. If I take an entry, I know it's likely gonna be a little bit riskier of an entry. Ooh, wait, did we close above the 50% of this FVG? I think we did. Let's see here. Where's my magnet? Quarter levels. Okay, yeah, we did indeed close above that 50%. Okay, I might watch that on Microsoft. So if we get a retest of that 50%, I might go ahead and try a long swing there. And like I said, if they did come down and fill that volume imbalance, I would likely either average into my long because if I take a long here, I'm gonna get like 2 months out contracts probably. Um, but yeah, if they had brought it back down to here, I would either average in or just buy a second option because I mean my invalidation is really the monthly low. I think the monthly low wants to hold. I think they want to take it higher now. No clue. He's a funny guy. Yeah, he was always a character. Like I said, I mean, I learned stuff from him, but it really wasn't trading wise. If anything, it was more of just like marketing and watched him build his Discord up, bunch of stuff like that. I really didn't take anything from his trading, if I'm being honest. I'll be watching the live, but I have some questions. You stepping soon? Um, I'll probably hop off the YouTube live around 10. I'll maybe stay on for like 10, 20 minutes maybe after it, but that'd probably be my max because then, yeah, I'm going into the Discord to do my weekly analysis. And then I'm probably just gonna get some sleep tonight. Didn't sleep much this weekend. Been up early every day. You swing trade, day trade, or do both? Majority day trading, but I do take swing trades. But I'm more picky on those. Like I'm more of let the setups come to me, or I just do charting sessions like this here and there, looking for some setups. But I mean, at the same time though, if you've been on here since the beginning, you've seen how many setups I've gone through, and this is really the only one that's kind of stood out to me. I pass up on a lot of setups looking at stocks. Apple, I'll look at Apple. I've never really personally liked trading Apple. Let's see. Let's mark out. Oh, this yearly candle's flat at the moment. Okay. I mean, this just looks like it's gunning into all-time highs. I mean, oh, yeah. I mean, this looks bullish. I mean, there's no reason to be bearish just yet. I mean, we're short of the yearly open. To me, there's no reason it definitely shouldn't push into that yearly open. And then once it does that, I see no reason for it to not fill this volume imbalance and take all-time highs. How this low form. Ooh, they gave April's open all the way up there before they dropped it. Hmm. See, this is another one too that just gaps a fuck ton, man. See, it's hard to even pick out a projection I like here at the lows. What would this 4 hour projection look like? Does that align to a daily high well? Yeah, it does. I really don't like that actually. I don't. Man, this see, if I had to pick a projection, but I just feel like it's hard to trust this. That's a very large move still. I mean, it's very possible though. Let's see. All right, I really don't like this standard deviation leg higher. That's a very large move. If anything, I would look at this current month. This current. Okay, yeah, yeah. This is what I would watch more closely if you're looking at Apple. I'd look at this current monthly projection. I like this much more. This projection from the lows is not that clear to me. Because, I mean, if I had to, I would be keying from this low to this high because they gave that monthly open, the April open up here before they dropped it. So this was more of the monthly manipulation that month to me. But man, that's a large swing to the upside. So I mean, personally, if you're swing trading just like weeklies or monthlies, I feel like this swing could be nice to use because, like I said, I still think it's bullish. I think it wants to at least, at minimum, move into the yearly open and fill this volume imbalance. But I see no reason why it's not going to push into all-time highs and past it. You use standard deviation, right? Time standard deviations. I mean, yeah, in a sense, it's time standard deviations. So, I mean, like, I'm picking out a high and low within the same power of three. So, let me go back to like NQ's price action from Friday. So, I'll go into that 6 a.m. projection I was using. So, here it is on the 5 minute. I think it did look a bit more clear on the 15 minute, but either way, you can still see it just fine here. So, like I was saying here, with the 6 a.m. open, so I'm using a first distribution leg here. Why? There was no manipulation of this power of three opening price. We did not come back and manipulate it there. But look what the ES did. The ES did. The ES manipulated it there. So right there was our SMT. It's a form of hidden SMT. Okay. So from there, I was projecting that first distribution leg because I anticipated us to just continue higher. And I mean, from there we continued up into 2 to 2.5 beautifully. But this is what I'm saying though about the time frame alignment and like time standard deviations. So if you were keying the standard deviation like that, that is wrong to me because you're not keying within the current power of three or within the same power of three. Because if we're looking at here, this was that previous 4 hour candle. A new 4 hour candle opened and closed right here. So projecting from this low back to this high makes no sense to me. Rather than projecting in the current power of three, that first distribution leg, and I'm using this high over this one because it aligns to the 15 minute better. Okay. And just look at that 2 to 2.5 standard deviations. We've reached into it, and that's where we had SMT at the all-time high. And I took a short on live stream Friday. We actually took it on the ES because the ES was the weaker asset. But yeah, that was a nice trade we hit on Friday. But then from there, I wasn't getting too greedy on the downside, like looking for too much more because you can see the ES was going below the 6 a.m. low in Q, failing to go below the 6 a.m. low. So right there, they're giving that SMT. And considering the fact that we're at all-time highs, we're higher time frame bullish. Um, I was anticipating that SMT at the highs to get wiped, and that's exactly what happened. That yearly candle on Apple, wow, that's going for the highs. Yeah, I agree. Bro, how to add two time frame. Bro, how to add two time frame chart Time frame using one chart. Wait, what do you mean? Like, how does it change the time frames between both charts at the same time? Is that what you're asking? Because I have had people ask that before. Like, whenever I change the time frame on one chart, it changes up on both. That's one of the settings in here. So if you up here where like you change the layout down here at the bottom, if you turn on the interval, it'll change between time frames on both whenever you change it once. Can you check JD? Yeah, I got you. Yes, sir. Let's see what we got here. Let's get a yes out of the way. Well, I have one drawing on here and look, well, what the hell? What even is that? I honestly don't even know what this drawing is I had on here from the past. So I'm just gonna delete that. But whatever the fuck it was, it marked the low. Shit. Ooh. Well, let me look at these yearly candles. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3 years in a row they offered sell side over any buy side. They're taking previous year low, previous yearly low, previous yearly low. Kind of looking at this as an order block. I think it wants to take out previous yearly high before the previous yearly low. I think it wants to offer some buy side. Ew, that monthly open doesn't look pretty for this month though. Okay, hold on. Let me mark out this year's yearly open. Hmm. Yeah, this daily gap's a fuck ton. Holy. All right. Like I said, I'm on here to read price. I don't I don't sugarcoat anyone's ideas. Personally, I think this is going to drop again before it goes higher. I think that monthly open is very dirty down here. I think they're going to come back to it cuz even on the daily chart, I mean just straight away from the yearly or not the yearly open, the monthly open, they've traded just straight up. And looking at the monthly, I feel like they're going to want to come back. Or this is the weekly chart, sorry. Ooh, but I like what it did here. They went up, closed above this previous high, came back, used it as a breaker. I do like what they did here. Ideally, as long as this thing is bullish and it's moving back for that high, it shouldn't go below this low. BD 0 0 0 0 0 just sent me a friend request. Is that you? Um, um, bro, I thought I got rid of all the bots, man. I thought I got rid of them. They might still be able to add people. I'm not sure. But no, it's definitely not me. So one big thing with Discord, I don't add anyone back on Discord. You can message me and I will message you back. If I don't see your DM because it gets put in like my like requests, just at me in like my actual Discord chat and then I'll go open your DM. I uh I respond to DMs, but I don't add anyone back just so that they know anytime they get added by any sort of BD, it's a fake account. So there's absolutely no reason to get scammed. If you get scammed, you're probably not the smartest and deserved it, so that it doesn't happen again. Got to learn somehow. But so you looking for the manipulation leg after the 6 a.m. standard deviation? I mean, okay, hold on. Let me finish going into this stock real quick, and then I'll go back to NQ real quick, and I'll go over the time openings that I watch every day. You've lost audio? Um, is it everyone? Can y'all still hear me, or is it just him? You all hear me? Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, we'll keep going then. But yeah, I mean, looking here at JD, I feel like it wants to take one more drop again. I really don't like that monthly open they gave here at the low. But like I said, I think this is wanting to move back for last year's high, 2024 high up here. Because I mean, the previous 3 years, we've only taken out previous yearly lows. And now finally, they've dropped it into deep discount. It was like a yearly order block here. I'm wanting to see it push up into that previous yearly high, but with this current monthly open, I don't think it's going to happen just yet. I feel like they're going to do something like they'll bring it down again to about this volume imbalance, and then I think it would be good to go. Like obviously it's not going to be a straight shot like that, but this is about the route I'm anticipating price to take. Nope, definitely cannot hear you at this moment, I promise you. I went out and came back all good now. All right, bet. But yeah, this is about the route I would kind of see for JD. Yeah, that monthly open just ain't pretty right there at the low and how they took it straight up. But yeah, I think higher time frame, it's looking good. Like I said, I think as long as they don't go back below that low, yeah, I think as long as they don't go back below that low, it'll continue for this high. Why the volume imbalance? I notice it's a semi favorite PD array from you. Oh, yes. The volume imbalance to me is one of, if not the strongest draw on liquidity. Man, they are good. They are good. It's not. It doesn't do much justice going back and looking at it here on the current contract month of NQ, but you can go back and just study volume imbalances and how they are a magnet, man. I mean, look at the low on this drop down that we got here at the start of the year. Where was the low? That last volume imbalance that was sitting there. We went through, filled them all. And what would they draw right back up to after they hit the bottom one? Would you look at that? Another volume imbalance. Wow. So then, I mean, whenever I go down to the 4 hour though, whenever I'm seeing them on like the 4 hour, 1 hour chart, those are more of ones you can use intraday a lot of times for a draw on liquidity. But yeah, I really recommend studying those volume imbalances. They are very strong draw on liquidities. I love using them. Because those two, I feel like a lot of times too, whenever you have like a 4 hour volume imbalance, that's when you can see some aggressive reversals like midday. Like right when people least expect it. Like if we left a volume imbalance from like the Asia Open, um, and they've just been running it straight up since then, and then they run it straight up off 930. Right there's the perfect time for them to cook the most people. Just absolutely reverse it right to the volume imbalance, right when nobody expects it. Those are some of my favorite moves, plays to take, honestly. Volume imbalances are very strong. Um, yeah, so last thing I'll say here before I'm about to hop off here. Um, I mean, these are the key time openings I'm going in and looking at every day. I mean, I still recommend having a idea of what's happening on the weekly power of three. But from there, I'm typically breaking it down to I'm using the midnight open for the daily power of three. Holy typos. There we go. Midnight open. And then from there, I'm looking at the 2 a.m. 4 hour open, 6 a.m. 4 hour open. And then the final power of three I'll watch is the 10 a.m. 4 hour open. And a lot of times, I'm typically not, typically, I'm done trading by 10 a.m. usually, if I'm being honest. But there are days I definitely trade the 10 a.m. power of three, especially when we have 10 a.m. news. You can see some nice setups then. But I would really take into account the weekly power of three, what's happening on the higher time frames. Start breaking it down from how have we manipulated the weekly open, okay? And then from there, once you see our manipulation of the weekly open, you anticipate more of the weekly high or low to be in. Okay, from there, that's when I'm trying to break it down and look at days we have news to see which days we're more likely to expand. Because, like I said, this so here, for example, on NQ, I've been completely right about this draw to all-time highs, but this week right here, when it was very slow moving, just an up and down, very just choppy uptrend, I barely took any trades through here, even though it was still going to my draw and liquidity. I'm more interested in these moves when it's expanding, when they give these nice manipulation moves, and then real expansion. Those are the moves I'm interested in. Like, man, FOMC day, that price action was also very clean. Hey, let me guess though. The buyers stepped in here, right? The buyers, they bought price back up. What's the second projection I'm using? Oh, that's the 6 a.m. projection. Because notice the high I'm using is still before 10 a.m., so it's within this current power of three. And look at how well these projections align. So I would really consider this first projection here the midnight projection because this is our high of day, or at the time it was the current high of day. So to me, that was more of the midnight manipulation. And this, I mean, we did manipulate midnight as well here, but to me, this second projection is more of the 6 a.m. 4 hour power of three projection. So right there was that 6 a.m. open. So they're running it up, manipulating above the 6 a.m. open as well. And look at how well these projections aligned. And look at that. Low of day marked. Hold on. And actually, hold on. If you want to go a little deeper, watch this. Or hold on, I got to go to the 1 minute because it was FOMC. Very fast movements. Let's look at this. Look at where they gave the 2 p.m. open. Is there a manipulation leg we can use here? Absolutely. Look what gave the low. Probably random. All right. Well, like I said, I'm giving you all the higher time frame projection I'm using into this week. Um, but other than this, I mean, I'm about to call the live here. Hold on, let me go back up. Because, yeah, I'm looking at this 4 hour projection to the upside for our monthly power of three. I would keep this on your chart. Okay. Monthly power of three has been very clean. So I'm going to leave you all here with that. I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Like I said, I've had people ask about a backtesting live stream, so I might have to do that one day. Just get on for a live stream, just go back and backtest old price. But yeah, guys, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Like I said, if you want, I'm way more active on Twitter and in Discord if you want to chat with me more. Um, but yeah, calling it here, boys. I appreciate everyone. I'm off here. Hope everyone has a good rest of their weekend and has a good trading week. Later.